I'm Martin Friedman. I'm the director of Sunday in the Park with George, with music and lyrics by Stephen Sondheim, and the book is by James Lapine. I've directed it 3 times, or this is my 3rd time. I guess the reason that I've decided that I threw my hat into the ring to come out here to direct this is the importance that I put on this show. As a director, as an artist, we all have conflicts in our lives, as any human being. I think that artists have, or are certainly more acutely aware of the conflicts. The conflict of doing your art and having a family, for example. Doing your art and making money doing your art. It's a conflict and an idea that's really fascinated me since I found this play. I just love the questions that the play asks, that it asks of me and that it asks of the audience. Well, as you know, it's ostensibly about George Seurat, who was a post-impressionist playwright. He didn't live very long. He lived, 31 years, I believe. He never sold a painting in his life. And while the play uses much of his life as sort of the outline of the first act of the play, and the construction of this masterpiece of his, Sunday Afternoon on the Island of the Grand Jatte, it's really not about him biographically, but Sondheim and Lapine have used him as a jumping off point. Again, it's a jumping off point to talk about the nature of art versus your personal life. And George has a conflict. George loves his work. That's all he knows of, and that's the only thing that he's very good at. He is also having a relationship with a young woman, and she wants more from him. It doesn't matter what she wants from him, but she wants more. And the conflict is, can he give it to her? The second act takes place 100 years later in America, and supposedly it's about the the grandson of George, who oddly enough is named George. And it seems that the conflict between art and life has not changed in 100 years. And this George, this modern George, still has the problem. He still cannot decide between art and his life, and what is art and what part does art play in his life. The idea of the play is to create in the first act this masterpiece that George Seurat created that it took him 2 years, and we do it in 1 hour and 10 minutes. And because of the nature of this theater, I had to change my concept. Not that I was going to use the same concept, but I couldn't go with the concept as the play is written. And so I've changed it by setting it in his studio. And I thought that it would be interesting to hone in even closer and to focus in on George and the decisions that he made, not on the island of Grand Jatte, which is where usually the play takes place, but rather in his studio. And so you actually see the construction of the final painting in this play, in this particular production anyway. In this particular production, the woman playing Dot, who is the lead female, is played by Amy Collier, who played it with me in 2006. And it's fascinating to see how she has changed and how her interpretation has changed. We were were talking about one of the songs that she sings. And I said, why are you singing it like that? And whatever her answer was floored me because it was completely different. I remember what her answer was the first time. And I said, why did you say that? And she says, I'm older. And it's interesting. I'm older too, but that's a good thing. I think that you can expect to come out of this play with a greater appreciation of artists and what it takes to create art. The great thing about art is what one person's art is another person's wallpaper. One person's great song that speaks to them and makes them cry is another person's screeching record that makes them want to rip out their hair. But because this play focuses on the creation of the art, I think that's what people will take away from this play. They'll take away how hard it is to produce something. And again, whether it's a pop song or whether it's whatever kind of work of art it is, I think what they'll take away is the appreciation of the amount of work it takes.